So my name is Josh Firer, and I'm here to do this Tech Talk, which is a new series that we're doing of librarian-led programs on different technology topics. So thank you for joining us. Today we're doing a 2020 electronic gift guide for the holidays. So we figure around this time, there's a lot of sales, and people might be interested in knowing what's, the hot item, and things are always updating every year. So I wanted to kind of give a little bit of an update of, like I said, I'm going to go through a bunch of different topics. Each slide will be, phones or tablets, and then we'll go over what are some of the best ones for this year. All right. So also just to let you know, the prices that are listed are like the manufacturer price, but for a lot of these things you can get better deals, especially now during the holidays. But it's just to give you an idea when comparing them, kind of what the list price is. Okay, so let's get going. The first category we have here is smartphones. So here we have 4 different phones. The first one I just wanted to mention because this is a good option for seniors. It's called the Jitterbug, and it's very basic with a large font and simple features. There's no contract or cancellation fees, so you just pay by the data plan, and that plan can start as low as $20 a month. And so, if you have a senior in your life that wants something a little bit more basic and is a little scared by things like the iPhone or doesn't want to spend that kind of money, that's a good option for them. And then we're going to talk about the Google options or Android. So the new Google phone is the Google Pixel 4a 5G. Now, if you want an affordable 5G phone, the Pixel 4a 5G is a worthy consideration. So it's shipping out today, actually, November 19th. And the $499 handset has a solid battery life, fantastic dual rear cameras, and robust software support from Google. So that's an Android phone. And then the Samsung Galaxy is also well known for their Android phones. And the newest one is the Samsung Galaxy S20. So as Samsung's flagship phone for 2020, the Galaxy S20 features a brilliant 6.2-inch AMOLED display with an ultra-smooth 120 hertz refresh rate, reverse wireless charging, a water-resistant design, and 3 cameras, in addition to its pretty good front camera. So this is a fantastic daily driver for an Android user. And if you have more to spend, there's also the Galaxy S20 Plus, which is a little bit fancier and higher end, and the Ultra, which is their I'm sorry, I think I got those mixed up. The Plus, I think, is the bigger phone with the bigger screen, and then the Ultra is the higher end one with the slightly better specs, but a little bit more money. And then the classic iPhone, the Apple iPhone 12 is the newest one, and it's starting at $829. And the iPhone 12 isn't the cheapest of Apple's new iPhone 12 variants. That title would go to the iPhone 12 mini, which costs $729. But the iPhone 12 has a bigger screen and is affordable for what you get from it. And while it still features the A14 Bionic processor and dual rear cameras, it doesn't have a telephoto lens. So the last year's model had a third, like the 3 dots in the back with 3 different kinds of cameras. This one only has 2. The device's base memory option starts lower at 64 gigabytes instead of 128 gigabytes as well, compared to last year. And, the iPhone is always a solid choice and is very popular. All right, so let's talk about some smartphone accessories. So the first one I have here is the Tribe Fitness Premium Running Armband. So this frill-free running armband from Tribe impresses with its luxuriously soft, stretchy comfort and an unobtrusive, low-profile fit. There's not a lot of storage space for much beyond a phone and a credit card here, but the band doesn't budge at all when worn on bare skin or over a medium weight jacket. The band is also one of the only armbands that allows you to use with a little effort the phone's touchscreen while tucked inside. Ultimately, you will appreciate how simple, practical, and comfortable the Tribe Fitness armband is to use. A no-brainer for anyone looking for a cheap way to carry their phone on the run. And note, if the splashy red graphics are too much for you, that's no problem. This armband comes in more understated options. And then if you're looking for something to hold your phone in the car, like for GPS, I actually have this Kinu Airframe Pro, and I've been using it for about a year, and I really like it. So this is the best vent-mounted tension arm model for a phone holder in your car. So you don't have to put a metal plate on your phone with the tension R model, like some of the other kinds of models that you put on where you attach a magnet kind of thing on your phone, and you put it on the onto it, and then it holds it there. This is just, you kind of loosen it up and put your phone in there. So the Kinos is the best of the style with the strongest grip and a design you can operate one-handed.
Okay.
And then I wanted to also mention the Razer Kishi. So this is, you can pair a lot of standard controllers with the phone, but few will feel as perfectly built for mobile gaming and portability as the Razer Kishi. This controller effectively turns your Android phone into a Nintendo Switch-like handheld, as it clamps control onto each side of your phone's display. This controller supports a wide array of Android phones as long as they are USB-C and are between 145.3 millimeters and 163.7 millimeters tall, 68.2 millimeters and 78.1 millimeter wide, and 7 millimeters and 8.8 millimeters thick. There's also an iOS version that'll support everything from the iPhone XS or newer, except for the iPhone SE2. So the Razer Kishi provides dual clickable analog sticks as well as AXBY buttons, triggers, shoulder buttons, a D-pad, and a few navigation buttons. So don't worry if you need to charge your phone while you're playing either, as the controller can pass charging power through. And when you're not gaming, the sides of the Razer Kishi can squeeze together into a more portable form factor. So it's $80 for the Android version and $100 for the iPhone version. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about wireless headphones. So I've got 3 options here, and kind of the big, let's say the big trend is to go towards these earbuds. So the first one is for the Android users, the Samsung Galaxy Buds Live. So they're water resistant. And say what you will about Samsung Galaxy Bud Live's bean-shaped design. Yes, they're affectionately known as the beans, but they might just be the most innovative new true wireless earbuds of the year. Like the standard Apple AirPods, they have an open design. You don't jam an ear tip into your ear, and they're comfortable to wear. Additionally, they're discreet and basically sit flush with your ear without a little white pipe extending out from them, kind of like the Apple ones. They deliver good sound and work well as a headset for making calls with good background noise reduction, so callers can hear you clearly even when you're in noisier environments. While they have active noise cancellation, it's mild compared to the noise canceling features in earbuds that have a noise isolating design. In other words, buy them for their design and sound, but not to block out noise.
Okay.
And then you have the Apple AirPods Pro. So these are water resistant. And also just to mention that these are the Apple AirPods Pro, but there is just a regular AirPods, which are a little bit less expensive and also a pretty good option. Even if they don't sound quite as magical as you'd hope a $249 model would, the Apple AirPods Pro still managed to be a great pair of true wireless earphones with noise cancellation. That's largely due to their winning design and fit, improved bass performance, and effective noise canceling. Now they've been updated with spatial audio, a new virtual sound mode for watching movies and TV shows, although that only works with iPhones and iPads running iOS 14. So they're an excellent choice when you want to make a call or listen to music during your workout. Yeah, they're expensive at $250, but the good news is they tend to sell in the $200 to $220 range when they're on sale, which they are often.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do they all keep the charge the same? Like, how does it work? You have to charge them every night, or how does?
So with the AirPods, the way, if you can see in the image, it's you have the case.
Okay.
And you actually charge the case, and then the case charges the AirPods like basically 5 charge cycles.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the AirPods will last, say, an hour or two, and then when they run out, you put them in the case, and the case charges them. And then after about 5 times of fully doing that, you'll charge the case, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So it actually works pretty well. It doesn't really feel like you have to rush to like charge the case that often. So it works pretty well.
Okay. And is it the same way with the Samsung?
That's a good question. I think so, but I'm not positive. I would have to double check. But I imagine that that's the case too with them.
Yeah, probably it's the same.
Yeah, because I don't know. It seems like they would need to be in a case, otherwise you'd lose them. So, and I'm sure they stole the design from Apple. So,
Yeah.
and then, but if you're into more like the standard headphones, the over-the-ear cans, the Sony WH-1000 XM4, those are Sony's flagship noise-canceling headphones, and they're now in their 4th generation, and it shows. They offer 30 hours of battery life, an ergonomic design, and some of the best sound quality you'll find, thanks to Sony's DSEE Extreme Upscaling engine. They cancel out the world better than nearly all competitors, and they can even sense when you talk and pause your music, so you'll rarely reach for the pause button. I thought that's a pretty cool feature. So Sony has also addressed the one thing we hated about the previous model, call quality. New microphones combined with better processing make these great for Zoom meetings and phone calls alike. So it sounds like they have kind of the best sound, and they still work for, Zoom meetings and other things. But, as you can tell, they're a little bit more expensive too.
Yeah.
So then we'll talk a little bit about streaming devices. So here I've listed 4 different models. And it should be worth noting that, there's all sorts of kinds of models from like Amazon, from models that are a little cheaper to models that are more expensive, and the same with the Roku, but these are just the ones that I decided to feature today. So the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Amazon's Fire TV Stick 4K makes a lot of sense for people knee-deep in Amazon devices already. It bakes Alexa right into the remote control. You can use voice control to search for video on Amazon or turn on your Christmas tree, or both at the same time. Throw in a massive selection of Amazon content as well as Dolby Vision HDR, and the Stick 4K is still an excellent choice. And then the Roku Streaming Stick Plus. Thanks to the Roku Streaming Stick Plus, you no longer have to choose between price and content selection. The Roku Streaming Stick Plus costs about $50 and provides access to more than 5,000 channels, including the sometimes elusive Amazon Video. The one streaming service it's missing is HBO Max. And I should mention that until last week, the Amazon Stick also didn't have HBO Max, but they just made a deal where now it's coming to the Amazon Stick. Hopefully this is remedied soon for the Roku, though. It's also got complete 4K HDR compatibility, meaning you're getting a relatively future-proof device at a surprisingly low price. It's also pretty powerful with snappy performance. It takes about 5 seconds at the most for content to stabilize at 1080p and around 10 to 15 seconds for 4K. The device is small and unobtrusive, and thanks to a wireless amplifier, it's easy to get a strong signal from anywhere in your home. Its remote is also really useful, as Roku finally added power and volume buttons. On top of that, you can get the same customizable interface seen in the Roku Ultra, which is much more capable than the Amazon Fire TV interface. And then we have the Apple TV 4K. So the perfect foil to the Roku Streaming Stick Plus, the Apple TV bumps up your cost by more than $100, but it's the better choice for people who can appreciate its advantages. Those include support for HBO Max, compatibility with Dolby Vision HDR, flexible up conversion, superior voice command features, a touch remote control, and a smoother, slicker user interface. The Apple TV 4K is so good for media streaming, it might make a great streaming device for someone even if they're not an Apple person. And then I wanted to add this last one, which is kind of interesting, the NVIDIA Shield TV. Sure, it's an expensive media streamer at $150, and that's before adding a game controller. But if you want a jack of all trades video streaming player, the Shield is it. In addition to a streaming media player with 4K streaming and HDR, it offers a robust library of games, both console level and Android, Steam Link, built-in Google Assistant, complete with smart home control, NAS access, Plex server capability, HD home run integration, and much more. The 2019 NVIDIA Shield TV doesn't just look unlike any other streaming device. It looks more like a mobile power charger. It's also one of the best streaming devices, period. This tube for your tube is great at speedily spitting out UHD 4K content, and its thousands of apps means you're getting practically everything you could watch. And it's so slight in size that it will fit discreetly into the ever-crowded space around your TV. This Shield TV also includes a remote control rather than a game controller. The remote is great because it illuminates when you pick it up in the dark. You won't miss the lack of a packed-in controller thanks to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One controller support. That all adds up to the best streaming device for those willing to spend more. The Shield TV supports 4K HDR streaming, making it the best streaming device for those looking to game and watch. So for gamers, this is kind of more attractive. It has this thing where if you have like a a gaming PC with Steam on it, you can kind of stream your games onto the TV just with this. So it's an interesting option. All right, then we're going to talk a little bit about smart speakers. So the Amazon Echo 4th generation is, it makes a big visual statement with its new sphere-shaped design, but it's what's on the inside of the Echo that makes it one of the best smart speakers, an overall best smart speaker under $100. Compared to the 3rd generation Amazon Echo, this one not only has improved audio, but a host of other features that make it one of the most convincing smart home devices around. The inclusion of a Zigbee hub lets this Echo lay a foundation for the rest of your connected products. So if you're looking for a smart speaker that will not just play tunes, but act as a central smart home hub, the 4th generation Echo is the best choice. And then you have the Sonos One. So the $200 Sonos One allows you to pair 2 units to play stereo sound or multi-room audio. But even a single speaker sounds awesome playing a wide variety of music genres, and it costs significantly less than other smart speakers with premium sound quality, such as the Google Home Max and the Apple HomePod. Better yet, the Sonos One has both Alexa and Google Assistant built in. You simply pick which one you'd like to use for your voice commands during setup. Plus, Sonos has Apple's AirPlay 2, so you can control it with any Siri-enabled device, including your iPhone. Added up in the Sonos One is a great sounding, reasonably priced smart speaker that can fit into households centered around Alexa, Google Assistant, or Siri. That's a tough pitch to beat. So what's kind of cool about Sonos is it's a little bit easier to pair them throughout your house. If you have one in one room and one in the other, you can have them kind of playing the same thing. But what's kind of cool about them is if you have just one, it sounds great. And then if you have a second one, it'll automatically turn it into a stereo configuration and kind of use both of, it basically uses as many as you have in the room and makes everything sound even better. So it's good. Sonos is kind of famous for that. And they have their own app that makes it pretty easy to, stream from different services onto it. And then you have the Apple HomePod. Siri's first smart speaker adapts its sound to the room you're in. It sounds fantastic, playing all genres of music. Its sound quality outclasses the Sonos One and even squeaks by the similarly priced Google Home Max. Thanks to Siri, you can also use an Apple HomePod to control your smart home products with the sound of your voice. Ask for help as you would with the other smart speakers and answer phone calls coming to your iPhone. The HomePod is more limited than the rest, however. You can only play music from Apple's music service with voice commands. Other smart speakers give you a few popular streaming options to pick from, like Pandora or Spotify. As for the smart home, you're limited to devices that work with Apple's smart home platform, HomeKit. So the HomePod has a few limitations that the rest don't have, but that shouldn't matter to you if you've already invested in Apple products and you just want great sound quality. All right, so then next we're going to talk about gaming consoles. So this is a big year for gaming consoles. So a lot of new products coming out, so we'll talk about that. But first, we're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch, which is now 3 years old, and it's still proving to be very popular. This is the most unique option on the market at the moment, as you can use it both as a handheld and home TV console. On Switch, you'll find a quickly growing library of games that's the most diverse offering from Nintendo in years. From thrilling exclusives like Super Mario Odyssey to essential indies like Stardew Valley, Nintendo Switch offers all kinds of experiences. It doesn't have nearly the same power as the standard PlayStation and Xbox consoles, and it certainly won't play games in 4K or support HDR. In fact, its screen is pretty low res at 720p. So if you're looking for a console that will win the spec wars, you won't find it here. You're also less likely to find the latest and greatest third-party games on this console. While it now has titles such as Doom, Skyrim, and LA Noire, many of these have been available on other platforms for months, if not years. That's slowly changing, but the latest and greatest releases may still not make it here, purely due to lack of power. Of course, where PlayStation offers VR, Nintendo has its own something special in the form of Nintendo Labo. This cardboard peripheral is one of the most innovative things we've seen in years, and it has the potential to be great. It's also worth being aware that you're likely to need to purchase a separate micro SD card for this console at some point, as its internal memory is restricted. Buy this if you want a console that can be played on your home TV and taken on the go, access to Nintendo exclusive games, and you don't need the highest resolution and the most powerful specs. And so that's $300 for the regular Nintendo Switch. But the most recent addition to the Nintendo family comes in the form of the Nintendo Switch Lite, a dedicated handheld alternative to the original Switch. So the Switch Lite boasts the same power as its original, but it comes in a smaller and lighter package. It's also worth noting that the Lite is a solely handheld device, and while you can connect Joy-Cons to it, it's meant to be used by a single player. That means you can't dock it to the TV, and it doesn't actually come with any Joy-Cons in the box. It also means that you can't play all the games in the Switch library, mainly those that require dock mode or are party games. While Joy-Cons will attach, the screen is a bit too small to play properly. So the Switch Lite is for those who aren't particularly bothered by the Switch's dock mode and would rather take their games on the go. The smaller screen makes for more comfortable portable play. Like the Nintendo Switch, you may need separate micro SD card for this console at some point, as its internal memory is restrictive. Buy this if you want a more portable, comfortable alternative to the Nintendo Switch. And so that comes in at about $200. And then we have the new consoles for 2020, starting with the Sony PlayStation 5. On paper, both the PS5 and its digital alternative boast an AMD Zen 2-based CPU with 8 cores at 3.5 gigahertz, 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, and a custom RDNA 2 AMD GPU that puts out 10.28 teraflops of processing power. In addition, the consoles have a super fast SSD for fast loading, ray tracing, and are backwards compatible with thousands of titles in the PS4's game library. The standard console also has a built-in 4K Blu-ray player, but this isn't available with the PS5 Digital Edition, which lacks a disc tray. The PS5 costs $500, while the PS5 Digital Edition comes in $100 cheaper than the standard PS5 at $400. If you're not particularly bothered about not having access to PS5 exclusive titles or the super powerful specs that the console boasts, then you might want to hold off for now. However, if you're looking for the newest and most powerful console, then you should consider a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. So I should mention that right now these are very hard to get your hands on. I've been trying, but the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are sold out in most places, although they seem to kind of be coming in stock in a rolling fashion. So you can kind of keep your eyes out, and you might get lucky and get one of these. So the big difference here with the PS5, you have the main one with the disc tray. That's $500. If you don't want that, you're not watching movies, you don't want to rent the video games from the library, you might want to go for the digital edition for $100 cheaper. And then you have the Microsoft Xbox Series X. On paper, the Xbox Series X looks like it will be the powerful console on the market, rocking an 8-core AMD Zen 2 processor running at 3.8 gigahertz and a custom RDNA 2 AMD GPU that puts out 12 teraflops of processing power, as well as 16 gigs of GDDR6 memory. When it comes to other Xbox Series X features, the next-gen console will have ray tracing, a super fast SSD, and a potential 8K capabilities, while also being backwards compatible with 4 generations of Xbox games. Meanwhile, the Xbox Series S is a more watered-down version of the Series X, but still packs a lot of power for such a small box. The console will target a resolution of 1440p instead of native 4K, but it's still capable of 120 frames per second gaming. It has an almost identical CPU to the Xbox Series X, but the GPU is considerably less powerful, and it comes with 10 gigs of GDDR6. But the GPU is, 10 gigs of GDDR6 RAM instead of 16 gigs. So the Xbox Series X costs $500, while the Xbox Series S is just $300, making it the same price as the Nintendo Switch. So if you're not particularly bothered about not having access to Xbox Series X exclusive titles or the super powerful specs that the console boasts, then you may want to hold off for now. However, if you're looking for the newest and most powerful console, then you should consider PS5 or an Xbox Series X. All right. So now I'm going to move on to cameras. So first I wanted to talk about an instant camera, which is the Fujifilm Instax Square SQ6. So this camera feels solid and durable, and it stands apart for its exceptional image quality and ease of use. The cost of its 3.4 by 2.4 inch prints have come down to about 85 cents each, and while their 2.4 by 2.4 inch image area is about half an inch smaller in each dimension than classic Polaroids, the SQ6's results look just as good, if not better. The Instax film reproduces a wider range of tones and more pleasing looking colors than any other option currently available, including Polaroid's revived instant film cartridges. The SQ6's exceptionally sharp lens further improves quality, even compared with other Instax cameras, and its exposure compensation controls and multiple exposure mode give you options if you want to get creative. And that's about $130. Next, you have GoPro. The GoPro Hero 8 Black is the latest GoPro, which is all many people need to know before buying it. It's the best action camera on the market. Its 4K, 60 frames per second footage is best in class, and it now goes up to 100 megabits per bit rate for even smoother, sharper results. The new HyperSmooth 2.0 stabilization is mind-blowing with a boost mode that's smoothed out violent shakes and rolls that other cameras can't handle. Time Warp 2.0 is crazy fun to use, automatically detecting the right recording speed for hyperlapses and letting you easily slip in and out of real-time footage at will. The folding integrated mount makes mid-activity battery and memory card swaps a lot easier too. And that's about $350 for that GoPro. If you're looking for a more traditional digital camera, the Olympus OMDE M10 Mark III doesn't represent the absolute pinnacle when it comes to image quality, but it does capture great looking images. And it excels in other areas that matter more when you want to get the perfect shot. It's compatible with more than 100 micro four thirds lenses that all work with its effective built-in image stabilization, which minimizes the effects of shaky hands for clearer images. And its small size means you're likely to bring this camera with you rather than a bulky DSLR or even a large mirrorless camera. The camera's autofocus system locks onto subjects quickly and accurately and remains accurate even in dimly lit situations that cause any AF system, including this one, to slow down. Although the auto modes are reliably great, the EM10 III also has manual control knobs and buttons and a tilting touchscreen, which make this model one of the better handling cameras in its class. Its built-in Wi-Fi lets you transfer images to your phone to share with your family, friends, and Instagram followers. You can also use the Wi-Fi to trigger the shutter and change most of the settings from across the room using your smartphone. And despite its great performance and advanced features, it typically costs a couple $100 less than its closest competitors. And that one comes in at about $650. All right, so next we're gonna move on to tablets. So the Amazon Fire HD8. This tablet is for the person that wants the cheapest tablet that's good for reading and watching video, with access to a big library of video, ebooks, and music. The Amazon Fire HD8 costs only $110, an excellent value. It lets you stream video from Netflix, Hulu, and HBO Now and other popular services and read your Kindle ebooks. It has built-in support for the Alexa voice assistant used by Amazon's popular Echo devices, which make ordering products and media from Amazon easier. And Amazon Prime customers get access to a selection of free movies, TV shows, and ebooks, though Amazon's apps for iOS and other Android tablets all work similarly. The Fire HD8 Plus is slower and has a lower resolution screen than any of the other tablets suggested, so text won't be as crisp. The Kindle Paperwhite is better for reading ebooks, for example, and its performance means you won't like using it for anything more demanding than basic email or web browsing. It's also primarily limited to Amazon's Android App Store, which has a smaller selection of games and apps than even the regular Google Play Store, which is already behind Apple's App Store when it comes to great tablet apps. It's possible to install the Google Play Store on the Fire HD8, but you do it at your own risk. The Fire HD8 Plus really is best seen as a media consumption device. And then next, we have the Apple iPad, the 7th generation, which is the newest iPad. This is for the person that wants a great all-around tablet that can handle pretty much any task. The Apple iPad boasts great hardware, an easy-to-use operating system, and a huge library of quality apps, which make Apple's iPads the best tablets for most people, even if you normally use Android on your phone or Windows on your computer. iOS also receives frequent updates, including prompt security updates, which isn't something you can say of any modern Android tablet. The latest 10.2-inch iPad has a great screen that works with Apple's Pencil stylus, a first for a non-Pro iPad. The 7th generation 10.2-inch iPad is the best tablet for most people right now because it's fast and affordable. It's got a nice screen, it's compatible with the Apple Pencil stylus, and it will receive software updates from Apple for years to come. The standard 32 gig model should be good enough for you if you plan to use the iPad mostly for streaming music and video, reading, browsing the internet, and playing casual games. But you may want to upgrade to the 128 gig model if you plan to use it to play graphically intense games or download lots of media. The only downsides are that the 7th generation iPad is just a bit worse than iPad Pro models in every way. Its smaller screen can't fit as much information and lacks an anti-reflective coating, and animations and scrolling don't look as smooth. In addition, this model is not quite as fast. Most people wouldn't miss any of these things, but the iPad Pro is worth considering instead if you're trying to use your iPad as your primary computing device. And then you have the Microsoft Surface Pro 7. The Microsoft Surface Pro 7 is essentially a great ultrabook with a kickstand. It runs Windows 10 and decades worth of desktop apps, including full-featured web browsers and the full versions of professional apps such as Microsoft Office and Adobe Photoshop, Premiere, and Illustrator. The Microsoft Surface Pro type cover and its excellent trackpad make the Surface more comfortable to type on than the iPad. Windows is also better at handling external accessories such as monitors, hard drives, and mice, but relatively few Windows apps are designed specifically for tablets, making this model a worse choice when your work is over and it's time to read or to play a game, or when you want to put the keyboard away and hold the tablet in your hands. And the Surface costs a bit more than a great ultrabook. A solid configuration goes for around $1,400 after you add the type cover and the Surface Pen. So out of these, I tend to like the iPad the best, but it kind of depends on what you're looking to do with it. So next, we're going to go over e-readers. So the best choice for most people is probably going to be the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite. The Kindle Paperwhite screen has the same 300 dots per inch pixel density as every comparable and premium ebook reader, meaning its display is crisp, easy to read, text, and clear images. The Kindle Paperwhite is light and small, with a side-lit screen that allows you to read in dim lighting. Amazon also offers the most impressive catalog in terms of scope and price, as well as partnerships that, for example, let you easily check out free books from many public libraries, including ours. This newest model is waterproof and includes Bluetooth so you can stream audiobooks, both of which are nice extras. Then there's the Kobo Clara HD. So Amazon makes the best e-readers, but if you don't like the Kindle devices or Amazon as a company, the Kobo Clara HD is the best alternative. It's equipped with a similar 300 ppi screen. It has adaptive backlighting, and the hardware looks and feels as good as Kindle, with a similar plastic body that feels light but not cheap. The big difference is that the Kobo lacks Amazon's tightly integrated ecosystem, so you can't, for example, toggle between reading and listening to your books. And then you have the Amazon Kindle Oasis. Amazon's top-of-the-line e-ink e-reader was slightly updated in 2019, but this Kindle e-reader device is basically identical to the previous Kindle Oasis, except for one key difference. It now has a new color-adjustable integrated light that allows you to customize the color tone from cool to warm, depending on whether you're reading during the day or at night. You can also schedule the screen warmth to update automatically with sunrise and sunset, not unlike the night shift mode on Apple devices. At $250, the Oasis is expensive for an e-reader. Most people will be happy with the more affordable Paperwhite for their Kindle ebook reading and basic Kindle needs. But if you want the best of the best with an anti-glare screen for your reading experience and don't mind paying a premium for it, the Oasis is arguably the one. All right, so now we're going to talk about fitness trackers. So Fitbit Charge 4 is the newest high-end Fitbit. The Fitbit Charge 4 might look almost identical to the Charge 3, but there's one very important difference. The newer device includes onboard GPS, so you can track your runs and leave your phone at home. There's also Fitbit Pay for contactless payments. And if you do decide to take your phone along, you can control your Spotify playlist from your wrist. It also includes a new feature called Active Zone Minutes. This is a measure of any activity faster than a brisk walk and is based on recommendations from various health organizations. It's essentially a simple type of heart rate training, encouraging you to spend time at different levels of exertion based on your age and fitness as measured by the watch. The Fitbit Charge 4 lacks a color screen, but its icons and menus are well laid out and easy to understand. Whether you're looking for sleep tracking, the weather forecast, or breathing exercises, it's only a couple of swipes away. Slim, neat, and packed with features, the Charge 4 bridges the gap between activity bands and serious running watches and is truly a fitness tracker for everyone. So I also just wanted to mention that's at about $150. And it looks like the Fitbit Charge 3, the last model, usually goes for about $120. So it's a little bit cheaper if you're looking for something similar, but just a little bit cheaper. But otherwise, if you have the Fitbit Inspire 2, and that's the best Fitbit for those on a budget, as well as one of the best fitness trackers overall. In essence, it's a slimmed down, slightly stripped down version of the Charge 3, which makes this ideal for those who are interested in tracking their steps and sleep. Similar to the Charge 3 and Charge 4, the Inspire 2 has an OLED touchscreen display, though it's a bit smaller here, and a heart rate monitor, smartphone notifications, swim tracking, and sleep tracking too. One shortcoming of the Inspire 2 is that it doesn't have GPS built in, but you're able to link it to your smartphone and use its GPS to accurately track your outdoor activities if you so wish. The Fitbit Inspire 2 has active zone minutes, touch panels instead of buttons, and a 10-day battery life. Plus, new Fitbit Premium users will get their first year of the service free. And so this next one is kind of a mix between a fitness tracker and smartwatch. So it could also be considered in the next screen as well. The Garmin Vivo Active 4S. If you're especially active and want to keep in-depth records of all your workouts, consider the Garmin Vivo Active 4S. It's a sporty, advanced fitness tracker with an emphasis on exercise. The smaller of Garmin's two Series 4 offerings, the 4S is refined and highly wearable. Bigger than the two Fitbit models I just discussed, but smaller than other watch-like trackers from Garmin and Polar. Its color touchscreen, though more muted than a few color screen competitors, is clear and responsive, and buttons beside the screen make toggling between workout modes or starting and stopping workouts easier. Overall, the Garmin Vivo Active is a step closer to a GPS running watch than the Fitbit trackers. The 4S monitors the basics and offers a robust array of exercise content, as well as the ability to create customized workouts. Fitbit offers video and audio workouts, but to access them, you need to download a second app, Fitbit Coach. They don't play through your device, and many require a $10 monthly upgrade fee. Sync a pre-selected workout to the watch from the Garmin Connect app, and the watch walks you through each move with a simple yet surprisingly clear and accurate animation, complete with a rep counter. So those are the fitness trackers. But next, we're going to talk about smartwatches, which share some of the same capabilities. So first, we're going to talk about the Apple Watch SE. This watch is for iPhone owners who want to leave their phone in their pocket while keeping up with their messages and notifications, controlling smart devices, getting directions, and tracking their fitness. Apple Watches are the best smartwatches overall because they make it easier than any other wearable device to interact with the messages and notifications relayed from your iPhone. For most people, the Apple Watch SE is the best version to get. It's noticeably faster than 2017 Series 3, but it still costs 30% less than the Apple Watch Series 6. It comes in the same body sizes as the Series 6 and has most of the same features too, like activity tracking and a heart rate monitor. The SE mostly gives up an always-on display, the blood oxygen sensor, and the electrocardiogram function, but most people won't miss those. Although not every major iPhone app has an Apple Watch partner app, many do, and most respond quickly and are optimized for the watch's screen, unlike many of the apps available for Android watches. The Apple Watch does a good job of independently tracking most kinds of workouts where accurate distance tracking isn't vital, and encourages non-workout fitness such as standing and moving every hour. Another nice feature is that the Apple Watch lets you easily make contactless payments using Apple Pay. If you own a Mac, you can unlock the computer by just getting close to it with your Apple Watch. The only real flaw is that the Apple Watch requires an iPhone. If you have another kind of phone, you're out of luck. Although good Apple Watch apps are better than what you get for Android smartwatches, many are still very limited compared with their phone counterparts. You may find that the Apple Watch versions of your favorite iPhone apps do less than expected. Most people shouldn't buy an Apple Watch specifically to run third-party apps. You should buy one for what it does on its own. Useful watch apps will be a bonus. The Apple Watch easily survives a day of normal use on a charge, but if you do anything demanding, use LTE, navigate with maps for an extended period, track a long workout, you may find your watch in power reserve mode before evening. And it comes in available sizes of 40 millimeters and 44 millimeters, and the colors are silver, space gray, and gold. All right, and then next we have the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2. This watch is for Android phone users who want to reply to notifications, use apps for home controller directions, and pull out their phone less. It's good for counting steps, encouraging activity, and tracking occasional long walks, runs, or bike rides. But if you're serious about tracking your runs or cycling sections, you'll want a GPS watch. Likewise, if tracking and improving your movement and sleep is a priority, you may do better with a fitness tracker. Samsung's Galaxy Watch Active 2 available in 44 millimeters and 40 millimeter sizes, is the best smartwatch for all Android phones, even though it doesn't run Google software. It runs Samsung's Tizen, which allows for better performance and battery life, about 2 to 3 days, than what you get from watches running Google's Wear OS. Samsung's watch interface is easy to navigate thanks to the touch bezel scrolling, and the round OLED display is gorgeous. The Galaxy Watch Active 2 also has impressive fitness tracking with automatic workout detection, something Wear OS still lacks. You won't find as many apps on Tizen as on Wear OS, though. One flaw is that the Galaxy Watch Active 2 doesn't have Google Assistant, but it does have Bixby, which isn't much more useful than Samsung's old S-Voice feature. It rarely answers questions as well as Google Assistant, and there are almost no third-party app integrations. That said, Google Assistant on Wear OS is notoriously slow and unreliable, so you might as well just get your phone out to use Assistant. The only thing worth using voice control for on the Galaxy Watch Active 2 is entering text. It's better than the watch's hilariously tiny keyboard. And this one is available in colors aqua black, pink gold, and cloud silver. All right, and so next we have the Garmin Forerunner 645 Music. This watch is for people who run seriously or compete in triathlons, need physical buttons for use while moving, and want to monitor their performance and progress with richer and more precise data. The sleek and slim Garmin Forerunner 645 Music is an excellent GPS watch in almost every way. In particular, its exceptionally accurate wrist-based heart rate tracking makes it the only watch worth using for heart rate-based training without a separate strap. The button-powered interface is easy to use, and it's more customizable than most other smartwatches. You can modify any aspect of the display, from the watch face to the widgets, to the activity profiles, to the running data screens. Its excellent all-day activity tracker, detailed sleep tracking, and nice-to-have smartwatch notifications and apps make it useful enough to wear 24/7. Equally important is that it's comfortable and attractive enough that you'll actually want to wear it all day. One concern, apart from the hefty price, is GPS inaccuracy. However, experts caution against relying on GPS to assess your exact pace while running. And this one is available in colors black, slate, cerise, and rose gold. All right, and next we're going to talk a little bit about laptops. So I have 3 different selections here. The first is the Dell XPS 13. And Ultrabooks are the best laptops for most people, including college students, writers, office workers, and commuters. They have great keyboards, screens, and battery life. They offer enough power to do everything most people need a computer for, and they're thin, light, and portable. You should expect to pay between $900 and $1,300 for a great Windows Ultrabook that will last you 3 to 4 years. Great Ultrabooks can cost more than many people want to spend on a laptop, even if such models provide a better experience and last longer than cheaper alternatives. Ultrabooks also lack the processing power to play high-end games or do demanding tasks such as professional video editing or 3D modeling. The Dell XPS 13 offers the best balance of what makes an Ultrabook great. It's exceptionally light and compact, its battery will last through a full day of work or classes, and it has a good keyboard and trackpad. It also offers fast performance and a spacious screen with a taller aspect ratio that's ideal for web browsing and document work. It has only 2 Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports that you can use to transfer data, connect an external display, or charge the laptop. It would be better if the XPS 13 had a USB-A port as well, but it does come with a USB-C to A adapter, and if you need more ports, you can get a USB-C hub or a dock. And then next we have the Apple MacBook Air, the 13-inch, and I think they just released the refresh of these computers. Excuse me. So if you prefer macOS or need great tech support, a MacBook is a safe bet. The 13-inch models usually offer the best combination of size, weight, and speed. They're great for writers, office workers, commuters, and college students. Expect to pay around $1,100 for one with good enough specs and the storage to last you 3 to 4 years. Where they fall short is price. MacBooks are even more expensive than Windows Ultrabooks, especially if you want to upgrade the memory or storage. Apple's SSD upgrade prices are so high that we usually recommend looking into cloud storage or an external SSD instead. And as with Windows Ultrabooks, MacBook configuration for most people lacks the processing power to play demanding games or do professional 3D modeling. The 2020 MacBook Air is Apple's best laptop in years. Its performance is solid, its price is reasonable, and you don't have to pay extra to get a usable amount of storage. And the new Air's keyboard is actually good, since Apple traded out the shallow and failure-prone butterfly switches under the keys of its previous MacBook Air for springier and more satisfying scissor switches. Like Apple's other laptops, the Air has only a small number of homogeneous ports, in this case, 2 Thunderbolt 3 USB-C ports that may require the use of hubs or new cables. But the Air's lightweight, solid construction, and industry-leading support make it a great laptop, especially if you also own an iPhone or other Apple devices. And then last year, we have a Chromebook. A Lenovo Chromebook Flex 5. Chromebooks are ideal for students and kids, but you should also consider one if you spend most of your computer time in a web browser, if you're on a tight budget, or if you already have a decent desktop PC. A good Chromebook can do almost anything a regular laptop can do, including document work, video calls, and streaming video, as long as it's possible in a web browser or in Android apps. And Chromebooks are cheap. A $400 Chromebook is faster, lighter, and sleeker than a $500 Windows laptop and blessed with better battery life. Plus, Chromebooks are secure and easy to maintain. Where they fall short is in what they can't do. Chromebooks can't run iTunes, Photoshop, Windows-specific games, or many of the programs you might be used to on your Mac or Windows computer. They don't have much local storage, and they work best with a full-time internet connection. But if you use web-based email, if you can get by with Office 365, Google's Office web apps, and Android app alternatives, and if you stream your music and movies over the internet, a Chromebook should do just about everything you need it to. The Lenovo Chromebook Flex 5 13-inch is an exceptional Chromebook. It's fast, it has an excellent keyboard and trackpad, it's compact and light, and its 1080p touchscreen is vivid and bright. And it's comparatively inexpensive. On top of being an all-around great laptop, this model offers faster performance than most Chromebooks under $500. Most cheap Chromebooks feel slow with just a handful of tabs open, but the Flex 5 can handle everyday workloads and video calls with aplomb. The Flex 5's battery life is just long enough to last through a day of work or classes. All right, so we're getting there. We have a couple of different things here to talk about, which may be a little bit too high end for some, but I thought I should mention them. First one is drones, which is something a lot of people are using for photography or to get some videos. And so these all come from the same company, DJI. The DJI Mavic Air 2 combines ease of flight with long battery life and a camera that can shoot 4K video in a package that costs less than $1,000. The Mavic Air 2's ability to sense and avoid obstacles approaching from the front, the back, and below, as well as to steadily hold its position even in moderate winds, it lets you focus on your cinematography instead of worrying about keeping the drone steady. It also features DJI Smart Flight mode such as Active Track, which directs the drone to autonomously follow and film a subject while still avoiding obstacles. Its 34-minute battery life means you don't have to land for a battery swap as often as you would with the competition. And at 7 by 3.8 by 3.3 inches folded and 1.3 pounds, Mavic Air 2 can go with you almost anywhere. And then you have the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. This takes many of the Mavic Air 2's best features, and for twice the price and a slightly shorter battery life, tacks on superior 1-inch image sensor and Hasselblad branded camera, which captures 20 megapixel photographs and 4K videos that look more colorful than those of the competition. It can also sense obstacles from all directions, which means it's safer to fly than the Mavic Air 2. And unlike the Mavic Air 2, it's compatible with the DJI Goggles FPV headset. But then there's the DJI Mavic Mini. If you're just getting into drone photography for personal use and social media sharing, the DJI Mavic Mini is a less expensive model that still includes collision avoidance. At 30 minutes, its battery life comes close to matching that of more expensive models, though it has a shorter range and can't capture 4K video just yet. However, it folds up to about the size of a person's hand and weighs just 249 grams. That's a bit over half a pound and light enough for the Mavic Mini to not require registration. It still comes with the important features you need from a video drone, such as image and flight stabilization and an included controller, as well as smart flight modes where the drone flies itself to easily capture cinematic shots. All right, and then the last one I'm going to mention here is VR, virtual reality. So the Oculus Quest 2 is probably the best one you can get right now. You can spend thousands of dollars chasing the best specs in a VR headset, but comfort and ease of use are more important elements for most people who want to explore VR. With that in mind, the Oculus Quest 2 is the clear winner. It combines good enough specs with the ability to use it cord-free, but you can also plug it into a computer, which opens up even more options for how and where you can use it. The controllers are intuitive and easy to hold. It can track you as you move around a room, and it doesn't take much time to set up. Additionally, the Quest 2 has a wide selection of compatible content because you can download games, movies, and other experiences from both the Oculus and Steam VR libraries. If you have an aversion to buying something from the Facebook-owned Oculus, or a loyalty to Steam is holding you back from buying a Quest 2, or if stock shortages are an issue and you don't want to wait for it to get a VR headset, the HTC Vive Cosmos or Cosmos Elite are among the few worthwhile alternatives. These sets have nice screens and some interesting future-proofing features that might give them more longevity. However, the Cosmos and Cosmos Elite are much more expensive despite being saddled with additional frustrations. And then you also have the PlayStation VR. The Quest 2 is a better headset in almost every way, but if you own a PlayStation 4 and you want to play higher-powered VR games without spending the money on a gaming PC, the Sony PlayStation VR headset could work for you. The PSVR can't track you as you roam around a room as effectively as its competitors from Oculus and HTC can, and its specs and controllers lag behind the competition in quality. However, it is easy to set up, has a solid game library, and has good enough specs to provide VR's wow-inducing sense of immersion in alternate realities, all without requiring you to buy a $700 plus PC. With the recent release of the PlayStation 5, Sony may be preparing a next-generation VR headset. If you're on the fence, it wouldn't hurt to wait a year and see what the company releases. All right, well, thanks for attending. Do you have any questions or comments? You can unmute yourself and ask me, and I can try to answer. Otherwise, you can always catch up with me by sending me an email at jfire@merricklibrary.org. And I really appreciate you showing up and hearing what I have to say today. So thank you for coming.
Thanks, Josh. I thought that was terrific.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it was really good.
Thank you.
You really gave us a lot of information.
Yeah, I know, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's what was wonderful. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, I know that there's some categories I didn't get to, like HDTVs and things like that. But I guess what I'll mention is that, you can always go to Consumer Reports, which is, we have access to through the library. So if you have a library card, you can go to our website and go to Consumer Reports, and you have full access. It's a little confusing sometimes. People don't realize, because if you just go to the Consumer Reports website, it'll tell you don't have access to it. But if you go through our library website and use your barcode, you get full access to that. So that's definitely a good resource for checking on, different product reviews, or, to see a product category like TVs and see what's recommended. And then a lot of the information I got from here, I got from Wirecutter, which is the New York Times technology review website, where they give featured their featured picks for different technology categories. There's also the Strategist from the New York Magazine, and CNET. So those are most of what I got my information from for this one.
Great.
Thank you. It was great.
Thank you so much.